the Roval at Charlotte Speedway to decide who's going to advance in the playoffs.
These drivers have got a lot of pressure on them.
Having a good day here, boys. Nice, smooth, big picture, man. They're badass on road courses. We can have this today. Yes, sir. Thank you. You know what to do. Sir, really appreciate it. For being here. Go out there and see what happens. Coming to the green. Pace car's off.
The green flag is out.
2 back, 1 back, closing. 17 just jumped us. Like he barely tapped him with the left front.
We've got some action on pit road.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
They're going to pit before the competition caution, try to work some strategy.
Clear to the grass, all clear.
Close to 20, too fast on pit road.
Too fast, we need to do a pass through. Hold the brake, man. 48, just run in there and tag him. I got it. Sure, this dude's not happy, but he just parked it. I tried to stop. Nice and smart here. Keep taking. I thought I was being smart. You were.
Ryan Newman has actually spun up.
I don't know that I got anything wrong. I just had a right rear tire was going down.
Just use you as the brake bud. This dumbass move. Yeah, but you're.
They go side by side. Chase Elliott shuts the door.
All good. Coming green check at width room. Good job, bud.
Kyle wants to fight back strong on the outside. He's going to take the lead.
I do not think we have an alternator. High volts are only 12.
Turn your driver fans off.
Got it. Tired of racing him. Just door slams you every time he gets to you.
Caution's out.
What do you want me to do?
We'll pit for a battery.
48 has the same issue.
Now the hood is up. Alex Bowman also in.
You can fire the motor. Let's use the jack down.
Here is your leader, Kyle Busch, winning a stage here at the Roval.
We're good.
All right, man. Coming to the green. You are the control car. Good to the bottom. Still there. Keep digging here. Watch you, low, 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 low.
And Elliott spins in front of me. Elliott's into the wall. In contact with Kevin Harvick.
Ford just wrecked him. It's tore pretty good.
See the track bars broke?
It is.
All good. Here we'll keep racing our race.
He got him. They're even now, aren't they? Holy. Oh, damn. That thing's just killed. Yeah. Wow.
Yes, Harvick paid the 9 back. Took him out to chase.
4 car just jumped the 9. Ooh. The 4 got him, huh?
Yes, he did.
Can a 9 even fix that?
They're going to try like hell. We'll see. Check it up. Change tires first. Look underneath there. See that track bar's broke. Drive shaft. All right, guys. Let's roll. Let's roll. Let's roll.
It's not going to.
I don't think anything is broke, so we just got to get that spoiler up.
Yeah, get that back up in the air as high as you can get it.
Yeah, we will. If we get a chance, we can wreck him and it'll lock us in. Don't be worried.
Oh, it's going to happen. Just so you guys know, obviously the 9 is basically said he's taking the 4 out when he gets a shot. 24 is leading. We are P7, 9 above the cutoff. Pretty good balance. 10-4. Still 40 laps to go in the race. Still 40 laps to go.
Tell me what we got to do here. Where we sit, well, we're going to need about 12.
Good job, buddy. You run right there.
Welcome in, race fans, to another edition of iRacing on Faded TV. We pick it back up with the No Toad Racing League, running the Xfinity Series, and tonight we venture to the road course races. Of course, we did some short track racing last week. Going to be a totally different environment here today at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Of course, this is called the Roval. You see the weather and track conditions there, and should be for an interesting night here. We saw quite a bit of road racing last season coming out of these guys when they ran the ARCA series. We were at, I believe, Daytona Road Course for sure. I remember Laguna Seca. That was a pretty good race to call, but the Roval certainly being one of my favorite tracks, and I think the viewers at home, for you guys tuning in, this would be a good race to check out. Looking through those points after 2 events, we all saw that at the beginning of the broadcast. It looks like Johnny Brugg was still in the points lead with 71 points. Kendall Kerr with a good run last week. He's trailing behind him only by 3 points with 68. Kyle Gretchen third, 63. Jason Benson with 59 points is in fourth, with Michael Redding with 55 points. We called him out quite a bit last week at Bristol. Had a really good race there, and he finds himself in the top 5, tied with Oliver Turan. Douglas Kelly in 7th with 53 overall points. Matt Puricini with 52 points in 8th. Marty Rogers 9th with 51, and it's John Creedler with 50 points rounding the top 10 there for you. Some notables outside the top 10. Gary Sargent tied for 11th with AJ Binish. John Crutchley 13th. Dustin Barton 18th. Alan Dixon 18th as well with Kashishian. So a couple of drivers outside the top 10 looking to make an impact here at the Roval. We are in the middle of qualifying right now. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the cars on the track right now. This is Kyle Gretsch. They call him Sexy Wall Trip here. And he owns the nickname. I mean, you see his car right there dedicated to that. You see his profile picture there coming out of Richmond, Virginia. So certainly owning the nickname. We got the track map up for you here tonight. Let's go ahead and fix these black bars for you guys. There we go. That'll take care of that. Easy fix right there. Graphics should look a little bit better as well. You guys see these, the added qualifying time tonight. Normally it's roughly about 5 minutes depending on what track you're at. It usually doesn't extend any further than that, and of course the best out of 2. But here on a road course, you got the out lap plus 2 laps, so drivers are generally given about 10 minutes to get their qualifying sessions out of the way on the road courses. And a lot of drivers, they'll choose not to qualify. Right now you see we got 15 times on the board right now. But we have probably 25 to 30 cars in the field. So I'm sure we'll see some guys coming on the track late. But again, I'm sure there'll be a good handful of drivers who choose not to qualify. NFC Championship game right now still tied 17-17, a minute and 55. The Rams, Matthew Stafford just got sacked. 3rd down coming up for those guys. So if you are tuning into this broadcast and maybe missing out on the NFC Championship game, I'll keep you updated on that as well. Here's Kendall Kerr, we mentioned, having himself a pretty good season here through the first couple of weeks. You see Ileana Hamilton up top, 1 minute, 23 seconds. Followed by Gretsch, Rogers, and Grosso, Carnes in that 5th spot right now. He had a little bit of a quiet night, or a quiet start last week at Bristol. He had made his way up through the pack, though, after that first caution we had. And put his name into the mix towards the end. Good to see Joshua Grosso finding his spot here, get some momentum at the road course. Right now, the 21 of Kerr currently sitting back in 6th. He's almost a second and a half behind Ileana Hamilton. Oh, and he slides coming out of that bus stop right there across the finish line. Should be his 2nd lap complete. It is just under or almost under 3 minutes left in the qualifying session. So if you haven't made your way out of pit road yet, chances are you're not going to qualify. Well, we said we'd give you updates to the NFC Championship game right now. 1 minute and 49 seconds left. The Rams 4th and 10. They're going to kick a field goal from their own 12-yard line. Try to go up 3 points on the Niners. Kick is up, and it is good. So the Niners take a 20-17 lead over the Niners with 1 minute and 46 seconds left. Jacob Kleinhart now on the track. Let's catch up with him coming out of St. Louis. Now, if you look at the track map there's quite a bit of difficult areas on the track, but unlike the majority of road courses, that first turn is going to be the least of their worries. The majority of road courses, that first turn is so important because you're usually coming down off of turn 4 on a huge straightaway. Not here at Charlotte. You see they added that little bus stop there on the front stretch before you get to that start-finish line. So that's actually going to slow drivers down going into turn 1, but it can still be a difficult journey through turn 1 and 2. And then you start making your way on the infield there. That whole section right there, 1, 2, 3, 4, those turns can make or break your lap, really. And then, of course, you turns 4 and 5, difficult as well. 6 and 7 kind of give you a little bit of a break. Then you get onto the oval part of the track before coming down the backstretch before you hit that first bus stop. And that's where we're going to be able to see a lot of action there tonight. We'll see. That could make or break some races as well. That first bus stop coming off the backstretch there. And it'll give drivers the opportunity, to pick up on some of these guys' mistakes. Of course, they'll be able to draft a little bit coming off of that oval section onto the backstretch. We'll see how big of a part that plays in it right now. San Francisco does take the ball from the 25-yard line. It was a touchback. Jimmy G's pass deflected on first down, so it'll be 2nd and 10 for the Niners at their own 25-yard line. 1 minute, 42 seconds left on the clock. 25 seconds left here on our clock for qualifying No Toad Racing League. This is their Xfinity Series. You're watching it live on Faded TV over on Twitch.com or on No Toad Racing League's YouTube. Either one you're watching this from, we appreciate you guys tuning in right now. Pretty big weekend. Of course, we had the AFC Championship game earlier today. We have this NFC Championship going on right now. We got the Charlotte Roval with these guys here from No Toad. So as the clock strikes zeros, these guys are going to take the grid. You see we have a 1 hour, 54 minutes to complete the race session. Should be plenty of time. Because on road course races, there's not going to be any cautions. There's just, at the very most, there's just going to be local cautions, but we're not going to be stopping into the action right now. It looks like Jimmy Garoppolo throws an interception. A desperate throw. Looked like he was going down with a sack. And Jimmy Garoppolo throws an interception at the Niners' own 20-ish, 15, 20-ish yard line. That's going to do it for the NFC Championship game. Niners are going to lose to the Los Angeles Rams 20-17. Sean McVay breaks a 6-game losing streak to his old boss, Kyle Shanahan. And it's going to be the Los Angeles Rams facing the Cincinnati Bengals. Joey Franchise right there in L.A. for the Super Bowl. All right, let's go over the grid here real quick. Ileana Hamilton, Kyle Grutch, we talked about. Rogers in 3rd. Looks like Grosso was able to hold on to that 4th spot right behind him. Skyler Carnes, Kendall Kerr, Alan Dixon in that 7th spot. Scott Kelly 8th, Matt Piercini 9th, and Oliver Turan in 10th. Jacob Kleinhart, Tyler Merritt in the top 12. Behind those guys, Johnny Brugg in 13th. Always dangerous there. Maybe not the qualifying time he was looking for here tonight. He's going to share the road with Justin Malarkey. Michael McCuskey behind them. John Campbell in 16th. There's Gary Sargent 17th. Jason Benson. Constrick 19th. And Terry Fullwider in 20th. That was definitely a name we heard last week quite a bit too. Willie Whitaker in 21st. Creedler 22nd. John Crutchley in the 23rd spot with looks like Redding in the 24th spot, with Binish actually conceding and going back to the 25th. So we'll leave the tower on here probably for the majority of the race. You guys will be able to see the track map. Still trying to figure out why the ticker has the caution thrown at all times. And yep, as these guys take the out lap, I can confirm Matt Stafford does take the victory formation, drops down to one knee, and the Los Angeles Rams defeat the San Francisco 49ers to head back to the Super Bowl. Perfect timing there. If you guys are just joining us from that game, we are at Charlotte Motor Speedway. This is No Toad Racing League, being brought to you by Faded TV and No Toad Racing League. And we're going to have 45 laps here, uninterrupted again. It really doesn't matter what happens on the track. There's going to be no cautions here tonight. So these drivers are going to have to be focused in for every single lap here tonight. As they come down that backstretch, this is the area of the track I was talking about. We may see a lot of action coming off of turn 2 there, technically, if this was, on the oval side of things. Down the backstretch and then hit our first bus stop right here. It's a very tight bus stop. There's not going to be a whole lot of room for these drivers to go through there too wide, so we might see some excitement through there. It's Ileana Hamilton and Kyle Gretsch in that front row. iRacing sporting the Porsche here tonight on the road course. But right now he's going to go down pit road. You see here is the second bus stop there. We've seen a lot of action IRL through here. We've seen Jimmy Johnson take a spin IRL, and here we go. Green flag, Ileana Hamilton getting the jump off the bus stop there down into turn 1. Kyle Gretsch there in the 27 right behind him. So a good start for those two drivers. Marty Rogers in third. Skylar Carnes up to fourth from his 5th spot. He passes Joshua Grosso there on the inside of turn 1. Now they start making their way through the infield. This is when this track really starts to get difficult. Coming down this small stretch here and into these next couple of turns, you really got to be careful. It's just such an awkward turn. You got to be careful with your brakes and your downshifting here. Very easy to lose your car through that area. But once you do, you feel pretty comfortable moving through this end. You're going to take your car all the way to the upside of that wall, try to cut that corner as much as you can before making your way back onto the bank service here. Hamilton now with a pretty sizable lead, 3/4 of a second down to this first bus stop. Looks like the majority of the field now pretty much single file. And here we go, the 53 of Tyler Merritt already with the mistake. He's going to get a penalty on that, a timed penalty, where he's going to have to give up some time. You see him way up there onto the track. He slowed down, almost came to a complete stop. We'll see if that was good enough to complete the penalty. It looks like it was, as he's back to full acceleration on that one. That's lap 1 complete. Ileana Hamilton. And Tyler Merritt again going around. Struggling here just a little bit for the 53. He's going to stay parked there momentarily. Wait for the rest of the field to make the pass. He does. And he's back onto the track. Back up front, Kyle Gretsch still following the 73 of Ileana Hamilton. Sexy Waltrip taking that second spot. Marty Rogers still in third, and there's the 47 of Skylar Carnes. Now, Carnes did sweep last season's road course racing in the ARCA series, so look to him to be a big player here towards the end of the race. But right now, still trying to find his groove. We talked about Joshua Grosso there, new to No Toad Racing League. Did not race the ARCA cars last year in this league, but he was an ARCA driver for Gary Sargent. And represented the NTRL pretty well there. Made the playoffs on that Thursday night league and found himself a seat with the Xfinity Series. Kendall Kerr still hanging on to that 6th spot where he qualified. Same with Alan Dixon behind him in that 7th spot. Matt Agostini up 1. He is in 8th along with Oliver Turan. It's Johnny Ruggs who's really fighting for positions right now. You see him on the inside right there take over that bus stop. That was from Jacob Plinkart, kind of forcing his way through there, but that's what you're going to have to do at the Roval. There's not a whole lot of room for these guys to make their way through these bus stops. Going to be real tight for some of these drivers. Behind them, Justin Malarkey up 2 spots. He's up to 12th. Same with Michael McCuskey in the 22 Valvoline machine. You see that Ford Mustang. He's up 2 spots. In 13th, you got Consturk up 5 spots right now. He may very well be our biggest mover, and it does look like that is so. He's in the number 8 tied car. You see him getting a little bit loose coming out of that section there. And there too, again, that part of the section right there, we talked about at the beginning of the broadcast, that's a really tricky section of the track. It may not look like it, but it's just the way that it's almost raised a little bit. You're going uphill just a tad. You just really got to make sure you're on top of your game through that section. And he was. Got a little bit loose, but it looked like he was saving it. Or he did save it, excuse me. Terry Fullwider up 4 spots. He's in that 9 Coors car that he was sporting last week at Bristol. Throwback to a old school paint job there. See Sargent behind him, of course, with his Jaguar scheme. John Campbell behind those guys. He's dropped 2 spots so far in that Krispy Kreme Chevrolet. No change in the lead right now. That's why I want to keep the tower rather than the ticker. You guys can see the top 20 right there. That's not going to move. You're going to be able to see guys as soon as they take a position onto the track, move up or move down. So that's why we're going to leave the tower up there for you guys. And the track map as well. That's going to be... Oh, the 22 car gets a little bit sideways. I think that's Michael McCuskey. It is. Coming in just a little too hot, it looks like there. And then he was just trying to recover that speed ever since. And just get a little bit sideways there. Unfortunately, does go nose first into that inside barrier. So... that's not good. You certainly want to take care of the front end of your car. I'm not going to be drafting here, but I mean, so many things can go wrong when you have that front end damage as far as temperatures to your engine, your oil pressure, etc. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that 22 car. Maybe he comes down pit road, uses a fast repair early on under green. We'll see. The 73, though, speaking of green, is all gas right now, up front by 2.5 seconds plus over Kyle Gretsch, and it looks like Ileana Hamilton, our pole sitter, really finding a home here at the Roval. I think these guys might have came in here and said, hey, Skyler swept the road courses last year, and of course, as I say that, oh, that got really dangerous for the 73. He was carrying so much momentum through that section. It looked like he was going to lose it. He certainly lost time. You see about a half a second Kyle Gretsch and counting made on Hamilton, but nonetheless able to save it, still maintains the lead, gets his lead back up over to that 2-second mark, so he's fine, but a little bit of a pucker moment for the 73. You see those two guys really starting to separate themselves. Skylar Carnes in the 47, who's now up 2 spots, passing Marty Rogers. So does Joshua Grosso in his black and gold Kodak car, so he's kind of just following Skyler around the track for the moment, but Skyler about 5 seconds off pace of Hamilton, and until we get to green flag pit stops, if nothing tragic happens, Ileana Hamilton with a nice comfortable lead there. Start seeing the field separating a little bit. The top 5 kind of in a bunch of their own, then we got 6, 7, 8 kind of bunched up, and then after that we start getting really separated. You see it on your track map right there. Most of the cars just now crossing that start finish line. Any Niners fans out there in the chat? Clearly not a happy ending to your night there, as that's probably the last pass Jimmy Garoppolo has thrown for the San Francisco 49ers, or at least it should be, in my opinion. Kyle Gretsch, though, holding strong here in that second spot. Obviously losing ground to Ileana Hamilton, but gaining it on who some might say the race favorite at the road course is Skylar Carnes. I mean, you look at that time right there. That 27 machine has only added time to Carnes, Grosso, and Rogers, as these three cars are bunched up right now. Grosso getting a little bit loose right there, trying to hang on to it, and he does, but we'll see if that opens the door for the 32 of Rogers. I think he took it a little bit light on him coming down into turn 1, and that's okay. Still early on into the race. Lap 7 out of 45 here will be green this whole way through. These guys will have to make a pit stop under green flag conditions. A 1 or 2, we'll see. I'm not too sure what the fuel cap is for these guys here tonight. Here's a ride-on with the 32 of Rogers right now. Again, he's trying to track down and get his 2 spots back. He started 3rd here. He's seen Carnes and Grosso take that away from him. Doesn't have a whole lot of pressure coming behind him, though. You see on the track map, these guys coming out of turn 4 of the oval. Well ahead of 6th, 7th, 8th right now. There's that bus stop. And it's Roy Hyde coming in with some clutch information of the broadcast. Appreciate that, Roy. So 21 laps in the practice race. So 2 green flag pit stops here. Suppose we may see some people maybe who aren't up front right now, maybe don't have the pace. They may try and save some fuel. It's going to cost them some time now, of course, but we're only talking about a 3-lap, 4-lap difference with that being the case. So if they were to sit there and sandbag for 10, 12 laps, they might be able to save the fuel. And there you go. That's what I was talking about with Rogers right there. That was almost a perfect entry back onto the banked oval part of the track. You got to cut that as much as you possibly can without hitting it. So that was a really good entry by Rogers. Coming down the backstretch now, down into that first bus stop. For 10th right now. Well, it's not really a battle, but the driver in the 10th spot, Jacob Plinkard, in fact, all by himself. Trying to catch Brugg. There's a little bit of a gap between those guys, though, about 3 seconds. Pretty cool paint job, though, there. Shout out to his graphics. So right here, 11th through 13th, these guys are bunched up, and behind them, you got about 5 cars that are bunched up as well. We'll stick with this first group here. This is 11th place driver, Conster. He's got Malarkey, Kelly, Fullwider. And here comes this second group right now, being led by John Campbell. He's trying to track down Terry Fullwider right now. He's in between both these groups. Oh, and he gets off track a little bit. A huge hit happening right in front of the 34 of Scott Kelly and Michael McCuskey in the 22. That's going to be some heavy damage on the driver's side of the 9 car. The first thing that comes to my mind is his steering box okay? If so, then he might be able to get away with some of that damage on his car. He's so far so good, it looks like. Gary Sargent, though, going to try his way onto the outside. Can't quite make the pass here, and coming down this backstretch, the advantage will stick with the 9 car of Terry Fullwider. Really early into the braking zone, though, and he actually hits the shoulder there, and unfortunately that's going to make him lose control of his car. He's going to lose 2 spots. That's Gary Sargent and Creedler making the pass on him. Let's go ahead and take a replay, though. Matt Piracini in the 24 just dumped his machine. Let's see how this happened here. Did he get into the grass? Yes, he did. And he went flying there just for a second. All 4 tires off the ground, and unfortunately, we talk about it quite a bit here on Faded TV. When it comes to any road course cars, I mean, even the GT3 cars, but especially these stock cars, you have to keep your tires off grass. It's like driving on ice there, and you saw it live. Just how bad it can get. Back up front, Hamilton, all he's done is grow his lead. He's about 4 1/4 in front of Kyle Gretsch, so running pretty smooth up there for the 73, and Gretsch, he's done the same. He's added some time between him and Skylar Carnes, almost, well, a little over 6 seconds, excuse me, between Gretsch and third-place driver Skylar Carnes. Grosso still 4th. Rogers still 5th. Lap 11 out of 45 here. This is the 3rd week of season 21. Shout out to the guys at No Toad Racing League, sticking it out so long, still putting on a good product, and still adding drivers. Pretty impressive stuff here. Let's go ahead and see what happened with Jason Benson just a moment ago. He was all by himself. We were talking about him just a couple of laps ago. And right through that bus stop there, I think he probably downshifted a little too much or a little too soon. It's a no contact there, but when you hit these braking zones and you're trying to do your engine braking, you're downshifting, it's really easy to overdo it, and that's what happens there. Let's go and take a look at what Consterk did, too. He's in that Tide car right now. He's having a pretty good race for the most part. And down into turn 1, and he pulled a Harvick. And he actually took a toe to pit road, so that's unfortunate for him. Must have saw Chase Elliott back in his rear view. Skylar Carnes looked like he jumped the pits as well. It's not good for the 47 car. Not too sure what happened there. It looked like he was making his way to pit road. And then I think he might have left the race session. Must have been a Niner fan. Last time we checked in with Bruggs, he was climbing his way right on the outside of the top 10. He since has done that. He's climbed up 5 total spots. He's in that 8th position right now. Still a little bit behind Turan, who's in 7th. And you see Clean Cart right behind him. Well, in any case, that's going to put Grosso on a podium right now. He's going to move up to 3rd with Skylar having issues there and backing out of the race session. Take spots any way you can when you're running for a championship. Justin Malarkey up 4 spots. He's in the top 10 right now in his 97. Oh, and we got Tyler Merritt in the red as well as Creeper. Let's go ahead and see if it's related with one another or not. Right now, the 53 Tyler Merritt who we're on board with first. He's in the white and black. Yeah, dips down there. Oh, and he takes out Sargent as well. That's unfortunate. Totally overdrove that section of the track, which it happens. Unfortunately, Sargent being a victim on the back half of that. Altogether, though, really not seeing a whole lot of drivers in the red. These replays that I'm showing you, pretty much as soon as they happen, I'm trying to get to them. We haven't done a whole lot, so these guys certainly putting in some time. I remember last season going back to Laguna Seca. I think we watched more replays than maybe we did the race. Not by design, but, you know, just trying to show what was going on to the track. And this season, at least right now with these drivers here, our first road course experience in the Xfinity car. These guys are dialed in and hitting their marks here tonight. We've only seen a few wrecks here and a couple of cars off track there, but fine showing tonight by No Toad Racing League. Looks like Gretsch catching Hamilton just a little bit. Still a pretty respectable lead for Hamilton, 3.4 seconds. That was up to 7, though, just a little bit. I wonder if Hamilton had a little bit of trouble. We did see him kind of overshoot a little bit a couple of laps ago. He was able to save it a couple of times, but wonder if something happened with Hamilton where he got maybe a little loose there and had to shake it just a little bit. So here comes the 27. Still about 3 seconds off, but you can see back behind him, Rogers and Dixon move up 3rd and 4th. Grosso, I think he's got some trouble here. Let's go back and take a look. No, okay, he's just going down pit road. Back up to Kyle Gretsch here. So we have started seeing some of our green flag pit stops. Joshua Grosso coming down pit road. He's going to give up a couple of spots, which he would hope to regain when these guys decide to make their pit stops. And these guys are all on their own out here. Again, there's not going to be any competition yellows thrown. We're not going to stop lining these guys back up for any reason. We're green flag until the end of the race, all 45 laps here. So might see some guys come down early. Might see some guys really try to extend their fuel and come in last minute. But there's not going to be any cheap cautions out here tonight where you can really regain your positions by hoping for a caution and lining back up. So we do see Grosso taking that early pit stop here on lap 15 at the time. He drops all the way back to 9th. He is back out on the track, though, so lost about 6 spots. We'll see how he can recoup those back. Alan Dixon now coming down pit road. So he's going to surrender his 4th position. Qualified pretty well here. 7th, he started the race. Was able to hold on to that for the majority. And then, of course, some cars came down pit road. He made his way all the way up to 4th at one point. So we see the 33 Camaro come down pit road for the first time. Looks like Redding as well in the 71. But I think he's been parked there for quite a little while. So might be some things going on with the 71 car. We'll see Ileana Hamilton when they decide to come down pit road. They've led every lap here pretty convincingly at the Roval, so full charge right now. I'm sure in his position, he may be one of those drivers we talked about that really extends his fuel as much as he can before coming down pit road. He's got no reason to come down. His only strategy right now is to continue to stay up front and keep leading this race. But now here's the other thing too, is as we see, let's go back to Hamilton. Okay, now he's starting to make his way through the lap traffic. Right now it's just one car that he's got to deal with, and it looks like the 9 did slow down to let him pass. But you see the track map in front of him. Here in a little bit, next lap or two, he's going to come across this group of 2, and then in front of them the group of 3. So Hamilton might think to himself right now, maybe now's the time to pit. Do I really want to make my way through that group of cars? Everybody's on old tires at this point. So he may decide to come down a little bit earlier than planned, just based on all the lap traffic that he's coming up to. Let's go ahead and take a look, see what happened with Willie Whitaker here. He's all by himself in the Mid-South Sports Report 37. Looks like he's just going to overshoot that a little bit hard on his brakes. Unfortunately, yeah, tried not cutting the track there, but couldn't quite make it. That's going to be a penalty for him. Almost coming to a complete stop, making sure that timer goes back to 0. Once it does, then he can get back onto the accelerator, get back into business. This happened with Jason Benson a little bit before that. That's not too bad there. Kind of saved it towards the end. That's a good job right there. Back up front, though, we thought Gretsch was catching Hamilton. I think he was, obviously, for a certain point. So I would assume Hamilton probably got loose, maybe lost control there for a second, which allowed Kyle to gain as much as he did. But ever since then, it looks like Hamilton, business as usual, growing that lead out just a little bit longer, back up to almost 6 seconds. Oh, looks like Whitaker once again, though, in the red. I think it starts with Jason Benson. Let's go ahead and see what happened. This would be his second incident as well. Yeah, going through that section right there. Trying to get up wide, but we've seen a couple of cars make that mistake. Just coming in a little bit too hot. They get on that rumble strip there up by the grass, and the rear end just gets out on them. Let's go ahead and see what happened with Willie Whitaker. This will also be his second incident here tonight. And same spot of the track that he had trouble with the lap before. You see in front of him, Matthew Piracini, though, struggling a little bit. And Matt's got some pretty heavy damage on the front end of his car. So some of these drivers certainly going through the pain here tonight. John Crutchley having a pretty decent night in the 48 car. He's back in 17th, but he's up 6 total spots. Do not believe that's for position there, the 48 and the 32. Yeah, that's actually Marty Rogers in the 32. He's sitting third. Bus stop by the 32 of Rogers. It's like Matt Piracini has come down pit road. Might just be a scheduled stop for him on lap 20. Hamilton's still waiting to come down. Gretsch, I believe, still waiting to come down as well. we'll stick here with the race leader, Ileana Hamilton. We are coming up on that pit window, that 21, 22 laps on the fuel. So we'll see how long he decides to stay out. You can hear Hamilton there, pretty much third gear, all the way through the bus stop, down the tiny front stretch, through that section. Still hasn't shifted up, so looks like the majority of this first portion, Ileana's just throwing it in third and really keeping it there till probably this section here is where you really got to start thinking about what your next move's going to be. This is a very difficult portion of the track, and maybe one of the most key portions of the track because of its difficulty. Let's go ahead and see. Looks like Benson, once again, having a tough night here in the 42. And this part of the track right here, it's really affecting a lot of drivers out there. And that could have just been him going wide, letting the 5 car through. No biggie there. Terry Fullwider behind him in the 9. We've seen him hit the wall not too long ago, right here through this section, actually. He gets a little bit sideways right in front of the 24. The 24, though, able to duck down low. You see the track, almost its own little infield right there through this section. So Pirosini able to make it through clean. Got a little dangerous there, though, for both those drivers. However, both of them coming out unscathed, and here is the leader now. The 73 of Ileana Hamilton, lap 24, coming down pit road. Kyle Gretsch decides to stay out. Rogers in third, but he's still about 20 seconds behind Hamilton, so he's going to come down here and at least get fuel, and looks like he took both sides of tires, okay? So Rogers is going to make the pass on Hamilton. And here he comes now out of pit road. Joshua Grosso back up to 4th. So a nice recovery for him after his pit stop. Remember, he slid all the way back down to 9th, I believe. So he's already gained 5 of those spots up. Kerr, Turin, Dixon, and Klinkart all in his rear view once again. Johnny Brugg sitting in 9th with Malarkey in 10th. 24 laps to go. We're going to take a word from our sponsor. We'll be back in just a few minutes. We're going to stay green here at the Roval. Sit tight. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. There's a reason that McConey Setup Shop is trusted by more virtual and real-world tracks and companies than any other setup shop in iRacing. With partners such as Stafford Motor Speedway, the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, Five Flag Speedway, Speed 51, and more. When you want something done right, you go to the experts at McConey Setup Shop.
With setups available for most series on both asphalt and dirt, built by a team of professional builders consisting of some of the top talents on the service, McConey Setup Shop LLC has what you need to hit the track with confidence. Head over to McConeySetupShop.com and learn why McConey Setup Shop is the official setup shop of Richmond Raceway Esports and is partnered with some of the largest names in virtual and real racing.
And remember, at McConey Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
That's right. And find your next setup and potential victory over at McConeySetupShop.com. Use code FADEDTV for 15% off all purchases. That includes a one-time setup, monthly subscriptions. They offer coaching. They also have a paint shop as well, so you can get your setup and a new paint all at the same place. We appreciate those guys partnering up with us late last year to come on board and just have a name like McConey Setup Shop and Faded TV coexisting. Pretty cool there. 23 laps to go. If you missed it earlier, the Bengals beating the Kansas City Chiefs in overtime to make their way to the Super Bowl for the first time in over 30 years. And, of course, just a few minutes after this green flag dropped, the Los Angeles Rams picking off Jimmy Garoppolo with just about a minute and 20 seconds left to secure a 3-point victory over them. So the Super Bowl is going to be Matthew Stafford versus Joey Burrow in the Super Bowl right there in L.A. Grosso back up to third with Kyle Gretsch, Ileana Hamilton. So just like in the ovals here on the road coursing as well, pit stops usually cycle through and you get your positions back. That's what we've seen here, at least in the top three with Hamilton, Gretsch, Grosso. Got Alan Dixon up to fourth. Marty Rogers in fifth. Kerr in pit road right now. He's in sixth. He may surrender that to Oliver Turan. Michael McCuskey up 6 spots tonight. Johnny Brugg in that 10th spot with Justin Malarkey in 11th. And you see the leader coming up on lap traffic. I was just getting ready to make my way through the field, but let's go ahead and stick with 73 right now. See if he makes his way through lap traffic unscathed. Behind him is 12th, 13th, 14th, which is what Kyle Gretsch has made his way up to right now. You see the black 3 on the left part of that track map. That's Joshua Grosso. He's still got a little bit of ways to go. But right now, if you're Kyle Gretsch, you're really banking on some of these cars, some of these back markers to slow down Ileana Hamilton. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case as he's able to breeze by. Now he's hoping for the same outcome as the 27 is right behind the 24 of Matt Piercini. You see the 22 car involved in this as well. The 24-22 do touch, so the 27's got to be very careful here. In fact, he's going to lose a ton of time trying not to get wrapped up in that. As he lets off, it lets the 24 of Matt Piercini kind of reset. The 22 goes about his business as well. So certainly a little scary for the second place driver, Kyle Gretsch, but I think he made the right choice. 21 laps to go here. Ileana Hamilton's been in complete control of this race since green flag drop. It's very unlikely he's going to catch him up unless Hamilton takes a spin somewhere. So there's no point in really getting caught up in that traffic. Matt Piercini, though. Oh, man. Heads up by Kyle Gretsch. Whether he saw that in his mirror or Matt Piercini called it out on the radio. Let's go ahead and use iRacing Rewind on that one. Matt Piercini coming in just a little bit too hot on the bus stop and would have certainly taken out and T-boned Kyle Gretsch. Let's go ahead and take a look here. Gets a little bit sideways there. Goes over those speed bumps, though. That's probably what saved both those cars from contact. But a great job by second place driver Kyle Gretsch being able to navigate his way through that and really come away from that unharmed. Looks like 9 cars either off the lead lap or out of the race completely. Or excuse me, 9 cars on the lead lap. Sorry, I got tangled up there. 9 cars on the lead lap. The rest either a lap down or more. And then a few cars on the back end have already made an exit from the race here tonight. You see Benson, Whitaker, Fullwider. That's where our multiple lap down drivers begin, back 17th through 19th. And then a whole array of drivers who are a lap down, starting right there in that 10th spot with Malarkey, all the way back down to Crutchley in 16th. Brugg in 9th is the gatekeeper, if you will, on the lead lap. Jacob Klinkart in 8th, Turan 7th, Kerr 6th, Dixon still hanging around in that top 5 situation with Marty Rogers in 4th, Joshua Grosso 3rd, Kyle Gretsch still in 2nd. He's got a 3-second lead over Grosso. Let's go to the 23 Toyota of Grosso, see if he can make some time on Gretsch. And of course, by the time we even get to him, he's already lost time. He's now 6 seconds behind Kyle Gretsch, who is almost 9 seconds behind race leader Ileana Hamilton. Trouble for Michael McCuskey. We're going to go back and take a look at a replay here. He's in the 22 Valvoline machine coming through this portion of the track. He's got Kyle Gretsch in front of him. And luckily that happened behind second place driver Kyle, but nothing too terrible for the 22, just getting a little bit loose. Looks like he saves himself from running into that barrier head on, except for trying to get turned around. Willie Whitaker wrapped up in another one as well. Let's take a look at what happened with him before we go back to Michael McCuskey. And this guy didn't even act like the bus stops were there. He might have forgot we were on the road course as he's barreling through the oval section of that track. He's going to have to come to a complete stop and before he get back going. And then back to Michael McCuskey. This happened right after that. He's still trying to get back onto the track there. Oh, that's got to be so frustrating. Trying to get back onto the track, a little too hard on the accelerator there, and went for another ride. Of course, that one not being as dramatic as the first time, but nonetheless, when things like that start settling in, especially this late in the race, we're a little under halfway to go here. It can be very discouraging, so we'll see what he decides to do, whether he parks it or if he stays out. Up until then, he's had a pretty good run, so I wouldn't see that discouraging him from finishing the race. Only he knows what kind of damage he has from hitting that inside barrier. Kendall Kerr. An update on him as well. I believe that 21 was sitting in pit road for quite some time the last time we checked on him. He goes for a little bit of a ride, nothing too serious there, avoids making any contact with anyone or anything, so that's good for the 21. Hamilton up there all by himself with a 9.5 second lead over Kyle Gretsch. Grosso looking for his first podium here with No Toad Racing League, at least on this broadcast. I don't know how he did week 1, just 2 weeks ago. We went over the schedule last week. We'll update you guys who are interested real briefly. Of course, tonight we're at Charlotte Roval. We'll be at Kansas Speedway next week, and then we're going to be off for the Super Bowl. And then we come back with the banger. We'll be at Daytona International Speedway February 20th, and then we go straight into some short track racing with North Wilkesboro. Those are going to be 2 very crucial races on the schedule. It's right there in the middle. These guys are going to be fighting. We already have a handful of drivers who are tied. I'm sure it'll still be close by the time we get there. But having Daytona International Speedway, some call it a bit of luck. Some people say they're more naturally better at super speedways. None the case there. A lot can happen at Daytona International Speedway. And then following that up with North Wilkesboro, you could be running your best race of your life and get taken out on the last lap, and that's it. In any race, of course, but short track race in North Wilkesboro. So I look at those weeks, February 20th and February 27th, to be probably two of the biggest weeks here at No Toad Racing League, of course, minus the week heading up to championship weekend. We have Richmond Raceway going to be April 3rd, with April 10th rounding out or wrapping up the season at Homestead, Miami. This won't be the only road course on the schedule either. We're going to be at Watkins Glen on March 27th. Of course, Watkins Glen, a lot of history with that track, especially with NASCAR as well. $15 laps to go. Hamilton still the race winner. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the replays we got here. Well, looks like just one. Willie Whitaker wrapped up in something again here. Not to be picking on you, Willie. Just stay, really pressing the replays that come up on me. That's a good job right there for the 37. Hits his brakes there, avoids the car that's on the outside, and decides to just kind of park it there momentarily. So a good job by Willie not to take out any of those drivers behind him. And now you see the 73 right now. This is where you want to be right now. All by himself. Let's go back to the race leader, Ileana Hamilton, and you see the track map as well. Take a look at that as he comes across the start-finish line right now. He doesn't have a back marker in front of him for a while. You see the 16th place driver of Crutchley up there just a little bit, but this is what you want if you're the 73 car. You want to be all by yourself. Nobody really breathing down your neck, and nobody slowing you down in front of you to where you really got to race careful and wonder, if they're going to spin it in front of you. It's his race right now. That's what he's running. And if you're in the lead at a road course, this is exactly where you want to be, all by yourself. And you see on the tower, Gretsch making a pretty good lead for himself over third place driver Grosso as well. About 14 seconds, give or take, in front of Joshua Grossa. That is Kyle Gretsch making the pass on Johnny Brugg. That wasn't for position, though, of course. Brugg back in 9th. Is on board with Alan Dixon, making his way through that first bus stop pretty convincingly. Now coming up on the end of lap 13 for him. Almost approaching 10 laps to go. We've seen Hamilton lead just about every lap here, minus the ones that were under coming down pit road where the lead was given. But as soon as we got through our rotations, the 73 car back up front leading this race and has led the majority of it. Kyle Gretsch also being in that second spot. This is where he's been pretty much the entire race. 5.5 seconds behind Hamilton. It's going to take a lot for our leader to even have to worry about Gretsch right now. Gretsch now making his way through lap traffic. You see the 48 ducking down low there, getting towards that blue line, making room for the 27. But Kyle Gretsch, he's got to bank on a couple of things here, that within the next 10 laps, Hamilton reaches that big group of cars there, 7th, 8th, 9th, and gets held up, or Ileana makes a mistake and really allows Gretsch to bounce on it. So those are his two wishes right now. Something one way or the other slows down Ileana Hamilton. They've been in complete control of this race. See a little bit of traffic on pit road. Looks like 2 cars coming down with just 10 to go. I believe that's Jacob Klinkhardt and Redding. Oh, I'm sorry. It's Redding who's been sitting on pit road for a while. I said that it was the 21 car, but it wasn't. It was the 71. They've been sitting there for quite some time. Here comes Joshua Grosso, it looks like, down pit road. Yep, so it's going to be his second and final stop. There goes Klinkhardt off pit road. Let's actually do it for his pit stops as well. Oh no, and the leader did crash. No. And we have a race. Kyle Gretsch takes the lead with just 10 laps to go. You see Kyle Gretsch in the lead right now. And let's go and see what happened with race leader Ileana Hamilton. Was in complete control of this race. About a 7-second lead and just coming in way too hot there through that first bus stop. Knows Kyle Gretsch is right there. Does a little bit more overdriving, gets a little bit sideways. Really has a bad exit through the bus stop, of course. That really opens it up for Kyle Gretsch. He's going to take the lead. And Hamilton coming down pit road. He's going to get some fresh tires. He knows Gretsch is going to have to come down probably once more as well. So Hamilton down pit road, going to take a little bit of a breather, try to regroup, grab some fresh tires, and top off his fuel for the last time here tonight. So that's an unfortunate event for the 73 car. And Rogers takes over second because of the pit stop. But, of course, that could cycle back once the 32 comes down pit road as well. That's got to be so frustrating for the 73 car. Ran mistake-free all night long. Has had a pretty good buffer between himself and the cars behind him. But really also putting himself in a position to where there was really nobody in front of him. He was in that sweet spot between lap cars and back markers, and unfortunately crashed himself. So, you know, he's probably beating himself up about it a little bit, but You just got to get back focused and hope that Kyle Gretsch now makes a mistake. So now it's Kyle Gretsch in complete control. You see Hamilton back about 32 seconds, 33 seconds behind your race leader. So when Gretsch does decide to come down pit road, he's got to make sure he's perfect. Certainly don't want any speeding penalties, a black flag. So that's going to go into this last pit stop for Gretsch. He's got to make sure he's on point here. One of Kerr, he's behind Matt Piracini, but that's not for position there. It's like Redding finally came off pit road there, got back onto the track, and the first thing they do is struggle there just a little bit. Overshooting that turn into the grass, hits the wall. We'll stick with this battle right now for fifth between Kerr, Allen Dixon, and Turan. They're all right there. At least Kerr and Dixon are. Coming up on just 5 laps to go. An interesting turn of events. Our pole sitter, lap leader, Ileana Hamilton, making one mistake, which allowed Kyle Gretsch to take over that lead. We'll see what Gretsch does with it, excuse me. Pretty big lead right there, 30 seconds. You could certainly do some fuel saving there, probably for a couple of laps before Hamilton begins to catch you. We'll see if that's what the 27 of Gretsch does, or if he just comes down pit road for the tires and the fuels. checking with John Crutchley, the 48. Looks like he goes off track here. Happens right in front of the 5. Oh yeah, just a little bit loose through that section, but as you see, right back to racing. That didn't take long. Does a full 360. Gets back onto the grass, so a nice recovery by Crutchley nonetheless. Jacob Cleancart, Gary Sargent. That's a battle for 10th right there. Probably the closest race for position we have currently, so we'll stick with this momentarily. 4 laps to go for Kyle Gretsch. Of course, as we were talking about that race for 10, Jacob Cleancart is going to win that battle. Sargent drops back to 11th. We just saw that, so excuse me, but it looks like Gary Sargent went off track here just a little bit. He sure did. Into the grass. Is he able to save it? Get back on track? It looks like he is. So good job by Gary Sargent there. That could have been a lot worse than it was. Of course, he does give up the spot to Cleancart, as mentioned, but three laps to go for the 27 of Kyle Gretsch. A little bit of luck on his side. Elian Hamilton with a self-inducing mistake about 10 laps ago, maybe a little less than that, but Hamilton overshooting the bus stop that Kyle's about to go through right now. Wasn't able to recover on track in time. Decided to come down pit road. And has since then just kind of been waiting on to see if Kyle's going to come down pit road for a splash and go, or if Kyle has decided to save fuel just a little bit. Maybe he can make it, or is trying to make it to the end of this race without coming down for fuel. White flag next time by for Kyle Gretsch. Does look like he is going to have enough fuel to make this race. So Elian Hamilton is going to be thinking about this one probably for the next day or two. Had such a dominant performance going here at Charlotte on the Roval. So the moment he didn't, Joshua Grosso, though, working his way back into the third after those pit stops. So, again, he's looking for his first podium, I believe, on the Sunday night NTR, and there it is, white flag, Kyle Gretsch. Rogers 4th, Kerr in 5th. He's got Dixon about 5 seconds behind him. But it looks like these top 5 pretty much locked in with Gretsch, Hamilton, Grosso, Rogers, and Kerr. Kyle Gretsch cutting that corner, getting back onto the banked oval part of the section. He's going to come down the backstretch one more time. He's got 2 bus stops from standing in the way of him getting first or making a mistake, possibly letting Hamilton sneak back into this. 21 seconds is a lot of time to make. The first one, well done. One more section of the track for the 27, and he is going to win the No-Toad Racing League's Charlotte Roval event. Going to the best stop one last time. Coming out of it, there is your race winner, Kyle Gretsch in the 27. Taking Charlotte here in week number 3. As we wait for some of these drivers to cross the finish line, an impressive run by Kyle Gretsch either way. I mean, he stayed in second place pretty much the whole way through, and we did talk about it at the top of the broadcast. I mean, you got to stay focused on these road courses 100% of the time. It doesn't matter how big your lead is or can be. You have to stay focused. There's the race winner, Kyle Gretsch, burning down the house there on the front stretch. So a pretty eventful race here. Again, I had mentioned it before, but a really clean showing here for Charlotte. Going back to last year, we did run a couple of road course races, and that was with ARCA. And the ARCA, you know, the brakes are terrible. The cars aren't that great. Certainly not road course friendly. So we did see some trouble at the road courses last season, but I'd say, all in all, considering a really good showing by everybody to keep it on the track, we're going to bring in third place finisher Josh Grosso in the 23. He was driving the black and gold Kodak. Josh, you got a copy? Maybe on push to talk there, possibly. We'll let Josh figure it out for now. He's probably on push to talk. Got a copy there, brother?
Hello, hello.
Yeah, there you are, Josh.
Yeah, sorry, I was
Hey,
trying to figure that push to talk out.
yeah, no problem. Hey, good to talk to you again. Long time no talk, but you came into this season. Of course, you ran the ARCA for Gary Sargent last year in a different league on a Thursday night league, but it was the No Toad Racing League team. He offered you a spot here Sunday nights to race the Xfinity Series. You get your first podium here. How suiting is it for you to get that on a road course, and how you feeling getting that here tonight with such a good group of drivers?
I mean, it feels absolutely amazing. This is my first podium here. I mean, I've only been driving in this league for a little while, but it feels definitely really good. And these are all a really, really good group of guys to drive with. So it feels pretty good.
Yeah, certainly some top drivers here, not just on the ovals, but in the road courses as well. I mean, there's a lot of guys that could be considered road course ringers. So to come in here to be able to take third, a podium behind Hamilton and Gretsch, a good showing for the 23 car here tonight, and of course walking away with a ton of points here. Josh, congratulations on a P3.
Thank you, man.
That was Joshua Grosso taking home third. Next up, it's going to be Ileana Hamilton, nicknamed Speed. Hamilton, you got a copy?
Yep, can hear you.
So, of course, maybe a little bit too much speed through that bus stop for you there. Look, a perfect race up until then. What happened at that moment? You overshot that bus stop, and then obviously Kyle, who ran a pretty good race himself, was just able to take advantage.
I had actually just lost it on strategy. I thought I'd be able to make a one stop easily, but crew chief was telling me I was at least a half lap short with a couple laps to go in the first stint. So I knew I probably lost the race then. When I spun it in the bus stop, I was just too busy um, looking at the HUD trying to see if I'd be able to make it on fuel, but I was a good 1.5, 2 laps shy. So I knew I was going to have to stop again, and I saw that Kyle stayed out, so I pretty much knew I had already lost the race there.
Yeah, I myself am starting to lose faith in crew chief just a little bit because it's costed me in some of those scenarios where, um, you do the math beforehand, you think you're good, and then all of a sudden Jim steps in, and tells you you need to you need to box this lap, and you're like, wait a minute, no, I thought I had more fuel than that, but yeah, either way though, a good showing at the Roval, finishing second. Of course, you want the win, but in a points battle where there are no playoffs, right? I mean, we go straight from the first week to the end. Every week counts, and to be able to play second here tonight, it's got to feel pretty good, and walking away with just a ton of points.
Yeah, definitely. Except for the strategy mistake, which I guess that's what I get for not running the practice race earlier this week. I probably would have had a better idea. But yeah, still happy with second. Overall, had a good race, so can't complain too much.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So congratulations on the P2. Um, are you looking forward to the other road course that's on the schedule later this year in Watkins Glen?
Yeah, I actually love Watkins Glen, so definitely looking forward to that. Hopefully, I can get my first win there.
Absolutely. A lot of racing beforehand there, but we'll let you go. Ileana, good race here tonight, and hold your head up high. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, man.
Next up is going to be the race winner, Kyle Gretsch. They call him Sexy Waltrip. You see the profile picture, the logo on the car. Kyle, you're running P2 for the majority of the night, pretty convincingly, too. Even when it looked like Carnes was going to make a run up towards the front, you started putting a gap between yourself and him that was pretty big. Um, I said it a few times. It was going to take Hamilton to make a mistake. He ran to perfection here tonight, and it didn't look like you were going to be able to catch him, but he makes the mistake, and because of your consistency, you were there to be able to capitalize on that. You didn't look back. You only made one pit stop here tonight. Talk to us a little bit about that strategy and the moment you saw hey, I'm actually going to be able to make this pass and probably win this race?
Yeah, early on, I was just kind of riding, just kind of figuring out where everyone was. Ileana wasn't in our practice race, so I had no idea what he was up to. But yeah, when he pitted, I think he pitted lap 21. I knew he was gonna have trouble there at the end. Not with the spin or anything. I just knew that he would be close on fuel, so I wasn't really worried about that. But coming out of pit road, there was an issue with the 24 where he almost blew through the bus stop, and that cost me about like 6 seconds.
Yeah.
I would have been probably right around where Ileana was near the end there, anyways. But yeah, that spin definitely helped me out.
I'm glad you brought that up because we saw that live on the broadcast, and I didn't know if you were just glued to your rear view going through those bus stops, as you were making your way through the lap traffic, or was Puricini nice enough to get on the radio and say, whoa, give you a little bit heads up through that area?
I forget who was behind me, but I saw there's somebody behind me, and I was just kind of going easy into the braking zone. I noticed a lot of people were going really hard, so I was just keeping an eye on him. But I saw on the left side of my mirror Parasini coming, and I heard the tires. So he didn't say anything. I just heard it coming, and it just stopped, and I had no idea if he was just going to blow through or not. So that was
Well,
very iffy.
yeah, and really probably the move that won you the race there when you think about it. So just a great job, great awareness, and really a good run here tonight at the Charlotte Roval. We got a pretty unique schedule this year. We got Daytona, which is followed by a short track with North Wilkesboro. We got a Watkins Glen coming up here. So I think plenty of good racing on the schedule, but to be able to walk out of the Roval as a winner, got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, I love these road courses. We did the Iowa one last year,
A few times
and the Iowa one was probably my favorite that we did, and had a fantastic run. But yeah, Watkins Glen, I'm looking forward to that, and just kind of trying to get these decent finishes here. Johnny Brugg, Skylar Carnes, Ileana Hamilton, all these guys are really, really hard to beat, and to win a race in the series is it's a pretty big deal. So this is my second, so pretty happy. I just
Yeah,
can't be glad about it.
no, and you really should be happy about it, and it breaks the streak. Skyler, I believe, swept the road course races last season here on Sunday nights, and that streak comes to an end here. Kyle, thanks for your time. Congratulations here at Charlotte.
Thank you, man. Hope everyone has a good night.
That was Kyle Gretsch, winner here at Charlotte Roval. I've been Faded TV. We appreciate you guys tuning in over on our Twitch platform, and of course, tuning in here every Sunday night on the No Toad Racing League YouTube. We head to take a look here. We head to Kansas Speedway next week. Then, of course, we got that off week, Super Bowl Sunday, Daytona International Speedway, February 20th. You guys have a good week. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. We'll see you next week.
Good job, buddy. You run right there.